We all want to achieve more, right? The truth is, setting goals is great, but setting too many goals can actually hurt you. In fact, research shows that people who set more than 3 to 5 goals at a time are 70% less likely to achieve them. Sounds crazy, right? Yet, it's something most of us do without thinking twice. We often overload ourselves with endless goals, thinking more is better, but this can lead to burnout, stress, and feeling overwhelmed. What if I told you that by doing less, you could actually achieve more? In this video, we're going to explore why setting too many goals could be sabotaging your success. From the dangers of perfectionism to the power of saying no, we'll show you how to take a smarter, more focused approach to achieving your dreams. Stay tuned to find out how focusing on fewer goals can make you more successful and more at peace. Trust me, this will change the way you think about goal setting forever. Chapter 1. The paradox of overachieving. We all love setting ambitious goals, right? But here's the thing. The more goals we set, the more overwhelmed we feel. This might sound strange, but it's true. Research from Psychology Today suggests that setting too many goals actually leads to lower motivation and higher levels of stress. The reason? Our brains are wired to focus on a few important tasks at a time, and when we overload them, we end up feeling stuck instead of making progress. The problem isn't that we want to achieve more, it's that we try to do too much at once. Dr. John Lee, author of The Psychology of Goal Setting, explains that when we attempt to juggle too many objectives, our brains can't give enough energy to each one, making us less effective. It's like trying to run multiple apps on a phone that's too old to handle them all. It slows everything down. A great strategy to avoid this is to use the one-goal focus method. This technique encourages you to choose just one major goal at a time and give it your full attention. Once you've made significant progress on that goal, you can move to the next one. This single-tasking approach, backed by studies from Stanford University, is proven to increase productivity and reduce the mental load. To avoid the paradox of overachieving, consider using the less is more principle. Limit the number of goals you set each year, and instead of adding more, double down on the ones that matter most. The most successful people don't necessarily do more, they do less, but they do it better. Think about Steve Jobs. He focused on a few key products at Apple and avoided distractions. Next, the SMART goal-setting method can be a game-changer. This approach focuses on goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. By making your goals more structured and specific, you increase the likelihood of completing them. The more vague a goal is, the more likely it will fall off your radar. Finally, remember that balance is key. Goals should stretch you, but they shouldn't break you. Instead of spreading yourself thin, focus your energy on what truly moves the needle. Over time, you'll find that focusing on fewer goals with more intention leads to far better results. Chapter 2. The myth of multitasking mastery. You've probably heard it before. Multitasking is a skill everyone needs. But here's a shocker. Multitasking doesn't make you more productive. In fact, studies show it can actually reduce productivity by 40%. Researchers at Stanford University found that people who multitask frequently are worse at focusing and have a harder time filtering out irrelevant information. When it comes to achieving big goals, the myth of multitasking can hurt you. Focusing on too many things at once divides your attention and weakens the quality of your work. It's like trying to read a book, watch TV, and text at the same time. You're not really doing any of those things well, right? A simple way to combat this is to use the Pomodoro technique. This strategy involves setting a timer for 25 minutes to focus entirely on one task. After each session, you take a 5-minute break. This helps train your brain to focus deeply and avoid distractions. According to a study by University College London, this focused time approach helps improve concentration and performance. If you find it hard to focus on one goal, break it down into smaller, more manageable tasks. Big goals can feel overwhelming, but when you focus on the smaller steps, it becomes easier to handle. This tactic, known as chunking, is a well-established psychological concept that helps you take large tasks and make them more achievable. Another strategy is to prioritize your tasks using the Eisenhower matrix. This tool helps you decide which tasks are urgent, important, or neither. Once you've categorized your tasks, you'll be able to focus your energy on the ones that really matter, leaving less important ones behind. Prioritizing in this way eliminates the need for multitasking. Ultimately, mastering one thing at a time will lead to more successful and sustainable progress. Instead of switching between tasks, you'll find that you actually get more done when you focus on one thing at a time. So, let go of the multitasking myth, and embrace the power of deep focus. Chapter 3. The emotional toll of goal exhaustion. We often hear that goals are the key to success. But here's the truth. Chasing too many goals can take a serious emotional toll. According to Harvard Health Publishing, constantly pushing ourselves to achieve more can lead to goal exhaustion, a state of mental fatigue that stems from never-ending goal setting. This emotional drain can make you feel stuck, anxious, or even worse, unmotivated. One of the most harmful effects of goal exhaustion is that it can lead to burnout. When you set too many goals, you spread your emotional and physical energy too thin. Over time, this drains your motivation, leaving you unable to keep up with your targets. A Gartner study found that 77% of employees who experience burnout are less productive and more likely to quit their jobs. This shows just how damaging overcommitting can be. So, how can we avoid goal exhaustion? First, it's crucial to set realistic and achievable goals. The 60% rule, often discussed by performance experts, suggests that your goals should challenge you, but only to the point where you can realistically achieve them. If a goal feels overwhelming from the start, it's likely too ambitious and could lead to burnout. A powerful strategy to prevent goal exhaustion is to take regular mental health breaks. Studies show that taking breaks, whether it's a walk, a hobby, or simply doing nothing, boosts creativity and restores energy. In fact, a University of Illinois study found that taking short breaks improves focus and mental clarity. Another effective method is to set emotional boundaries. This means recognizing when you're pushing yourself too hard and allowing yourself to rest without guilt. Author and motivational speaker Tony Schwartz writes in The Power of Full Engagement, "The key to sustained high performance is not how much time you spend working, but how well you recharge." Goal exhaustion also happens when we try to achieve too many goals that don't align with our core values. Instead of chasing every opportunity that comes your way, take a moment to evaluate whether the goal truly resonates with you. According to Psychology Today, pursuing goals that align with your values can boost long-term motivation and fulfillment. In the end, the goal is not to exhaust yourself in pursuit of achievement, but to build a sustainable path that allows you to grow, rest, and thrive. By setting fewer, more meaningful goals, and learning to pace yourself, you can avoid the emotional toll of goal exhaustion and achieve true success. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to set smarter, more achievable goals that don't burn you out. Chapter 4. The Perils of Perfectionism in a Goal-Filled Life. We often hear that perfectionism is a sign of excellence, but in reality, it can hold you back. Studies show that perfectionism can cause stress, reduce productivity, and even lead to mental health issues like anxiety and depression. According to the American Psychological Association, perfectionism leads people to feel like they are never good enough, no matter how much they achieve. The constant push for flawlessness becomes exhausting, and over time, it erodes your motivation. Instead of focusing on perfect outcomes, it's more effective to focus on progress. In his book The 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss explains that striving for good enough often leads to faster results. Perfect work often means endless tweaking and adjusting, which only wastes time and energy. The key to success is to keep moving forward, even if you don't have everything figured out. To overcome perfectionism, start by embracing imperfection. Allow yourself to fail. In fact, research by Thomas Edison revealed that he failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. He didn't see failure as a setback but as a learning opportunity. By shifting your mindset, you stop fearing mistakes and start seeing them as chances to grow. A helpful strategy is to set minimum viable standards for your work. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for just good enough. As Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon, says, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. Lowering the bar for perfection lets you get things done more quickly and efficiently. It also reduces the emotional weight that perfectionism places on you. Finally, remember the 80-20th rule, or Pareto principle. It suggests that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. By focusing on that vital 20%, the essential tasks that drive the most value, you can stop wasting time on trivial details that don't add to the end goal. Chapter 5. The secret to sustainable success. Prioritizing, not pursuing. In a world that constantly pushes us to do more, it's hard not to get distracted. However, sustainable success doesn't come from pursuing everything at once. The key is prioritization. A study by Harvard Business Review found that individuals who focus on fewer goals actually achieve more than those who scatter their attention. When you spread yourself too thin, your productivity drops, and it becomes harder to stay motivated. To prioritize effectively, start by identifying your most important goals. Think about what truly matters to you and what will bring you long-term success. Author Greg McKeown, in his book Essentialism, calls this the disciplined pursuit of less. Instead of saying yes to every opportunity, say no to the distractions that take you away from your core purpose. The Eisenhower matrix is a great tool for prioritizing your tasks. It divides tasks into 4 categories: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. This helps you determine what needs your immediate attention and what can be pushed aside. By focusing on the tasks that matter most, you can make faster, more meaningful progress. Another strategy is to practice time blocking. This means setting aside specific chunks of time in your day for your most important tasks. Research shows that time blocking boosts productivity because it limits distractions and creates focused periods for deep work. The more focused you are, the faster you get things done. Prioritizing also means learning to delegate. If there are tasks that aren't within your skill set or that don't help you move closer to your goals, delegate them. You don't have to do everything yourself. The Harvard Business Review reports that successful leaders delegate up to 30% of their tasks to others. This frees up time for the things that truly require your attention. Remember, the goal isn't to do everything, it's to do the right things. When you focus on a few key priorities, you build momentum that leads to greater success over time. The more you prioritize, the more room you make for sustainable growth. Chapter 6. The power of no. In a world of endless goals, in a society that values productivity and achievement, it's easy to fall into the trap of saying yes to everything. But here's the truth: saying no can actually be the most powerful tool in your goal-setting arsenal. Warren Buffett once said, "The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything." Saying no is not about being rude or rejecting opportunities, it's about protecting your time and energy. When you say yes to everything, you stretch yourself too thin and lose focus on your most important goals. A University of California study found that people who take on too many commitments feel more stressed and less productive. By saying no, you preserve the energy needed to achieve the things that matter most. To get better at saying no, evaluate each opportunity based on its alignment with your goals. If something doesn't fit with your long-term vision, it's okay to turn it down. This is where the 80-20 rule comes in handy again. Focus on the 20% of opportunities that align with your core values and goals, and say no to the rest. It also helps to practice the 24-hour rule. If you're unsure about committing to something, give yourself 24 hours to decide. This allows you to evaluate the opportunity more clearly and avoid saying yes out of obligation or guilt. David Allen, author of Getting Things Done, suggests that this gives you the mental space to make thoughtful decisions. You can also practice setting boundaries in your personal and professional life. By clearly communicating your limits, you let others know that your time is valuable. This is especially important when it comes to work and personal commitments. Brené Brown, in her book Daring Greatly, emphasizes that setting boundaries is essential for maintaining your well-being and avoiding burnout. Saying no doesn't mean shutting out everything. It's about creating space for what truly matters. The more you say no to distractions, the more room you create for meaningful progress. As you become comfortable with this, you'll notice that your goals become clearer and your energy more focused. And in the end, saying no is a powerful way to achieve your most important goals without burning out. Don't forget to subscribe and join us for more tips on how to achieve more by doing less and setting smarter goals that lead to real success.